Shalom, Erev Tov, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. Israel is preparing to significantly ratchet up its battle intensity against Islamist Hamas and its terror affiliates in the next several days. The Islamic Republic of Iran demands compensation from the United States over the obliteration of its nuclear infrastructure in exchange for resuming dialogue. The United States, along with over a dozen European nations, to include Finland, Sweden, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom, among others, released a joint statement condemning Iran over attempts of Iranian intelligence services to kill, kidnap, and harass people in Europe and North America. Israel is preparing to significantly ratchet up its battle intensity against Islamist Hamas and its terror affiliates in the next several days. The decision to intensify the war will be taken in the event that the Palestinian terror group refuses a final ultimatum to accept defeat and release all hostages that have now endured over 669 days in brutal Hamas captivity, which is currently being formulated by Jerusalem and Washington.
אנחנו בעיצומה של מלחמה עצימה שבה השגנו הישגים גדולים מאוד, היסטוריים, כי לא היינו מפוצלים. כי עמדנו יחד ולחמנו יחד. אנחנו צריכים להמשיך לעמוד יחד ולהילחם יחד כדי להשיג את מטרות המלחמה שהצבנו, את כולן. את הכרעת האויב, שחרור חטופינו, והבטחה שעזה לא תהווה יותר איום על ישראל. בהמשך השבוע אני אכנס לקבינט כדי להנחות את צה"ל כיצד להשיג את שלוש המטרות הללו, כולן בלי יוצא מן הכלל.
It is important to highlight that officials from the Prime Minister's office have revealed that Netanyahu wants the IDF to conquer the entire Gaza Strip with the aim of decisively defeating Hamas. The expanded operation will include areas in which hostages are believed to be held, a move which the IDF is said to be opposed to, fearing for the hostages' lives. It is worth mentioning that amid the expected shift in the scope and intensity of warfare against Hamas in Gaza, IDF Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir, who was scheduled to travel to Washington to meet with Pentagon officials and attend the exchange of command ceremony of U.S. Central Command, canceled his trip. Turning to Lithuania, where Israeli President Yitzhak Herzog concluded an official state visit, during the course of which he held an extensive meeting with his Lithuanian counterpart, President Gitanas Nausėda, and expressed Israel's unequivocal and unwavering commitment to both international law and international humanitarian law.
מדינת ישראל נלחמת כבר קרוב לשנתיים על מנת להחזיר את החטופים שלנו הביתה ואת הביטחון לכל אזרחינו. אנחנו כואבים כל פגיעה בחפים מפשע. ובהתייחס לדבריך, אדוני הנשיא, אנחנו משקיעים מאמצים רבים מאוד בנושא ההומניטרי ובעמידה בחוק הבינלאומי, וכפי שהצגתי לכם, רק השבוע נכנסו 23,000 טונות של אספקה הומניטרית לתוך עזה במאות מסעיות. יש מאות מסעיות שמחכות לחלוקה והאו"ם לא מקדם את חלוקתן.
The Israeli head of state continued by pushing back at an international campaign of false accusations, as he put it, which is promoted by the Islamist Hamas, emphasizing that Israel encourages more countries to assist in aid distribution in Gaza to help alleviate the suffering, which the internationally designated terror group Hamas bears full responsibility for.
אנחנו מעודדים הצנחות של סיוע הומניטרי עם עוד ועוד מדינות ומזמינים את כל המדינות להצטרף למסע החשוב הזה של שיפור הומניטרי משמעותי בעזה. הקמפיין של האשמות השקריות של חמאס בנושא הזה, תוך שהוא מתעלם מהאחריות הישירה שלו לסבל הנורא של תושבי עזה, משבש ומשקר את המציאות.
President Herzog also addressed the horrendous treatment of Israel's hostages by their monstrous captors in the Gaza Strip, pointing out to his Lithuanian host that the Israeli hostage Evyatar David was of Lithuanian descent.
אני זועק מכאן לעולם כולו, אסור לעמוד מנגד. חייבים לראות את כולם משוחררים ובבית. זה המפתח לכל הפתרון של המשבר החמור במזרח התיכון ובעזה. החטופים הם קורבנות של פשעים נוראים נגד האנושות, והתמונות המחרידות הללו הם עוד עדות שישראל, בשעה שהיא דואגת לאספקה הומניטרית לעזה, הישראלים החפים מפשע שם במנהרות עוברים עינוי נורא וכל זכויותיהם נשללות. חייבים לקומם את האנושות כולה, ויש רק דרך אחת, להחזיר את כולם הביתה.
It is important to know that later tonight, less than an hour after our broadcast of TV7 Israel News, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar is expected to attend an emergency UN Security Council meeting on the condition of the Israeli hostages in Gaza, with up to 20 out of a total of 50 believed to be alive, albeit they in dire physical and mental condition. It is also important to know that some of the hostages are dual Israeli, American, German, French, and even Canadian citizens, among others. Turning to Pakistan, where Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, during an official state visit at the invitation of Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, claimed that his country was innocent of all allegations leveled against it, and that Islamabad and Tehran are working together to convince international institutions to hold Israel accountable for the 12-day war that devastated Tehran's nuclear aspirations.
این تجاوزات بار دیگر ضرورت اجماع منطقه‌ای و جهانی علیه اقدامات قانون شکنانه رژیم صهیونیستی را آشکار کرد. دو کشور از نهادهای بین المللی به ویژه شورای امنیت سازمان ملل متحد می‌خواهیم تا با اجتناب از استانداردهای دوگانه نقش فعالی در جلوگیری از تجاوز به خاک کشورهای عضو، گسترش دامنه جنگ، تعرض به حاکمیت کشورها و کشتار مردم غیر نظامی رو بر عهده بگیرد.
मैं समझता हूँ जनाब सदर कि हालिया जून में जो इसराइल ने बग़ैर किसी वजह के, बग़ैर किसी ठोस कॉज के जो ईरान के ख़िलाफ़ जारियत की, मैं नहीं, मेरी हुकूमत ने नहीं, बल्कि पाकिस्तान की 24 करोड़ आवाम ने उसकी भरपूर मजम्मत की, और मैं समझता हूँ कि कोई जवाब नहीं था इस जंग का.
The Pakistani leader continued by insisting that Iran has a right to its nuclear program. Meanwhile, the Ayatollah regime has launched a robust campaign of disinformation throughout Europe and the United States aimed at convincing the Europeans and Americans that their respective governments are pursuing a wrong and dangerous foreign policy against an innocent Iranian regime. Among others, in an extensive propaganda piece by Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, which was published by the Financial Times, Tehran is now demanding that the U.S. must agree on compensation for its strike on Iran's nuclear infrastructure if it would like to negotiate vis-a-vis Iran's nuclear program.
Well, what I can say is that any demands for financial compensation from the United States to the Iranian regime are ridiculous. If the Iranian regime really wanted to save money or alleviate some of the sanctions policy, they would stop taking destabilizing actions. They would stop wasting money on their nuclear program. They would stop sending money to terrorist death squads across the region. They would stop oppressing their own people. So if they really wanted to save money or find a way towards prosperity for their people, they would start taking those actions. So any demands for financial compensation from the United States are ridiculous. But to stress, the United States is ready to talk with Iran. Iran has a short window of opportunity, but the ball is in Iran's court. So we're waiting to see what they do in terms of now it's in their court.
It is important to know that Iran's demands for compensation come amid a joint statement by the United States, the United Kingdom, Albania, Austria, Belgium, Canada, Czechia, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, and the Netherlands, alongside Spain and Sweden, in which they condemned the Islamic Republic of Iran for a growing number of state threats from Iranian intelligence services on their respective soils. The joint statement reads, quote, "We are united in our opposition to the attempts of Iranian intelligence services to kill, kidnap, and harass people in Europe and North America in clear violation of our sovereignty." Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. As we're faced with significant trials and tribulations today and in the days and months ahead, I would like to encourage you to pray for your leaders, pray for the hostages in Hamas captivity, and pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. Also, we are in need of your support since TV7 Israel productions are exclusively donation-based. If you're blessed by our programs and are able to stand with us, you can donate via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. I'm Jonathan Hessen, wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and God willing, we will see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.